Hi everyone, again welcome to our channel at JDM Financial Consulting. Our goal is to provide you the necessary information to make your life easier as far as concern the filing of your Form 990 and electronic filing system e-postcard. Today we will go over the user guide provided by the IRS in the process of designed to help you make it easier for you to register and also be able to file your Form 990N, which is the informational returns that you are supposed to be filed with the Internal Revenue as an exempt organization. These are the steps for using the Form 990 and electronic filing system e-postcard. Like we explained to you before, this form is not designed as like the 940 form, where you have an actual form. You can file it through PDF, or you can file it through a tax software like per se, Pro Series or ATX or UltraTax and so forth. But this is a form that you are able to file electronically through the IRS website, and these steps are necessary to make the process, to streamline the process for you. As a reminder, an organization cannot file Form 990N until after the end of its tax year. For example, calendar year filer, if your organization uses a calendar year, per se from January 1st through December 31st as a tax year, it must wait until the following January after the tax year is completed to file. Per se, like if you are calendar year organizations, your year start on January 1st and end on December 31st, and then you must wait until the following January 1st after the tax year is completed before you are able to file the form. Okay, so fiscal year filers are taxpayers or whose tax year for the year end, whose tax year for the year ended on a date other than December 31st, per se, anytime during the year, but it's not December, never December 31st for fiscal year. For fiscal year taxpayer, your tax year might ended on November 30th or October 1st or September 30th, sorry. So if your organization uses a fiscal year, for example, October 1st through September 30th. So basically, you have 2 years coincides. For example, your tax year would start October 1st, 2018 and end September 30th, 2019. So as it's tax year, you must wait until the following October after the tax year is completed to file. So if it's ended September 1st, then you wait October 1st. If you don't start September 25th or anytime before September 30th. After the tax is completed, so to file. So the IRS determine the filing year using the beginning date of the organization fiscal period, whichever is your fiscal period. These notes are necessary to streamline your process of registration before filing. Per se, you may experience difficulties. However, if technical issues prevent you from registering or filing with the Form 990 and electronic filing system, these are some suggestions provided to you. If the problem still exists after trying all the suggestions provided, contact the IRS Customer Service Department at 877-829-5500. This is a toll-free number. Now, you have to try all possibility before you call this number. You have to ensure that you do your due diligence and ensure that you are in fact unable to complete this process before you call the number. This is the last option basically to help resolve your issue. Telephone assistance is also available for individual with TTY equipment at 800-829 and 5049. Now, these are the steps necessary for you to take to prevent problems during the registration and filing processes. You must close all multiple browser when registering. Per se, I would suggest that you you probably restart your computer to refresh your system before you start, which will make it more convenient, or that will streamline the process for your registration. Error may occur if you have additional internet browser, even during the registration process. So you are urged to close all other internet browser windows that you have open. Some system it may require you to have Google Chrome or Safari or Firefox to open. Okay, so therefore you have to ensure that these browsers are closed before you start your registration to prevent any issue. Do not use smartphone to register or file your Form 990N, because the system is not designed to be to utilize mobile devices. You might end up starting the process and then the system might lock you, or you might put enter wrong information because you are using like mobile device or cell phone or smartphone, whatever. Um, Use correct text character when registering and filing. So basically, you have to ensure that you use only letters, numbers, or hyphen when entering text field, and limit your entries to 35 character spaces. These character limits do not apply to password fields. Okay. When choosing a password, use only letters, numbers, and special character except the caret. So one thing you have to also remember with passwords, you have to use a password that you can remember, and that is that is not risky per se. A password that people cannot even think of and while you file. Basically, you have to ensure that the password you created is a password that only you can come up with. Okay, to prevent anybody getting access to your information. Um, Check your spam or junk email folder. Basically, why is this important? If you receive any email from the Internal Revenue Services, you don't want it to go to your junk email and then you miss any information, or if additional information is needed to from you to process your form 990N. Okay, so if the suggestion above don't resolve the issue, any issue that you may have or that may come up during with the registration or filing the form 990N, you must sign out of the filing system if logged in. Close all program and shut down your computer, like I told you before. Wait a few minutes, restart your computer and try again. And if the problem continue to persist even after you restart your computer multiple times, then you can call the customer service line 877-829-5500 to help resolve any technical difficulties you have. How to file? How to that Now, after you complete your registration, now you have your password, you have your login. These are the steps necessary for you to file. You have to open the electronic filings page or at https://www.irs.gov/charities-non-profits/annual electronic forward I'm sorry, dash electronic, like you can see it on the screen, filing requirement and so forth. After reviewing the information provided on Form 990N web page, click the electronic filing system link under the ready to file header. Once you click ready to file, first time user, you will select create account. Okay, you'll create account. Returning user, however, returning user will enter their username and select login. This is if you have already completed the registration process, so you will be a returning user. But if you have not completed the registration process, then you would create a new account. On the next page, you will enter your password and select submit. Skip step 5 of this user guide. Okay, and then if you did not register with the new system until after, okay, this was created somewhere around that date after February 2016, you must register as a first time user. Your username and password from Urban Institute will not work, so you have to create a new user through because this system used to be managed by Urban Institute. So now it is managed by by the Internal Revenue website. Okay, your username and password from Urban Institute will not work if you have old username and password. So you have to create new ones. So as you can see, you have sign up here. If you don't have an account, you need to create one. And then if you already have username, it will say welcome back, and then in that case you will enter your username, and then you'll click login. If you forget username, you can click forget username. In that case, the system will allow you, may be able to send you an email, in that case, for validation or verification that it is in fact you that are who is accessing the system, to prevent any unauthorized access to your information. So you will receive an email, maybe a code, when you click on forget username, and then in that case you will create a new username. And possibly now, if once you create a new username, and then if you also forget your password, you may also click forget password. In that case, a code will be sent to you to recreate your password. Registration first time user only. Now this is for first time user only. If you have not registered and you don't have an account, use your personal information when registering. The login ID and password you are creating are for your personal use to file the organization form 990N. With your login ID and your password, you may file a form 990N for multiple organizations without the need to register for each organization. So basically, your registration, your username, your access to the system give you access to file Form 990N for multiple organizations. If you are managing multiple organizations, so you don't have to create a separate registration or separate account for each organization. The system will give you access to file Form 90N for multiple organizations without the need to register for each one. The login ID and password belong to you and not to the organization for which you are filing. So you shouldn't be given the organization the password and login, because this is uniquely created for you to file the organization's Form 990. The organization doesn't have to have access to that information. Step 1. The step 1 for first-time user is that enter your contact information, then send code, then select send code. So once you enter your contact information, like I told you before, you will select send code, and then a code will be sent to you. You will need to correct text characters when registering and filing. Ensure that you use only letters, as explained before, numbers or hyphen. When entering text field, and limit your entries to 35 characters or spaces. These characters limit do not apply to password fields, so you are free to use your password and use whatever character necessary or you can remember when you create your password, except that you cannot use the caret, as this caret right here, like that look like a little hat, So okay, so let's get started. When you are on the IRS website, okay, and it will say it sounds like you have all the necessary information available and can begin. So now you will enter your first name as it appears on your recent tax return. Recent person, in that case, it would be as it appears on your recent tax return. Last name as it appears on your most recent tax return. Email address, and you will also need to confirm the email address, so basically so that information don't go to the wrong email address. Step 2, once you get the code and you enter your personal information, the information, you'll go to step 2. In that case, you will enter the confirmation code found in your email. The confirmation code that was sent to you, you will receive a confirmation code in your email. Then you will select continue. If you did not receive an email, you will check your spam, in that case, as I explained to you before, or junk email folder. Um, and then check your email. So basically, we just sent you a confirmation code. For example, this code here, 1, 2, and so forth. This code is valid for 15 minutes. So any time lapse after that time, you will have to start the process again. So you want to ensure that within that 15 minutes time frame, you are able to get that code and use it immediately before the 15-minute expired. In that case, you will open your email and a new confirmation code will be sent to you. Okay, so it's important to keep this window open to avoid having a start over. Okay, so and that this box here, you'll enter the code you receive in your email. If you did not receive the code, you will click on resend the email. Okay, and then click continue and so forth. You will now, after that step 2 is completed, you will jump to step 3A. In that case, you will choose a username and password. This is again for a new user. On the created your user profile page, username field, ensure that you use only letter. We cannot stress that more. We said that multiple times. Ensure that you use only letters, numbers, or hyphen, and you cannot use a character. Remember that. And limit your entries to no more than 35 characters. I mean, you don't want to use a password with so much characters, but in the same token, you want to use it as long as possible, making it for it to be as safe as possible. We will go over that requirement. Period and slashes and other prohibited characters will cause registration or filing errors. These characters limit do not apply to password field. Password field, you may use letters, numbers, and special character except the caret. Now, once you get that box here, create your user profile. It will say we've been able to confirm your identity. Now you will create a user profile. This is the last step in the process. Create a user and password. The requirement for the user, you will enter a username of your choice. The username should be at least 8 to 64 characters and cannot be an email address. Like we use always email address in different arena as a username and so forth. It cannot be an email address, a social security number, or contain a space or a special character. Character like this character here, add the pound sign, the dollar sign, the percentage sign, the dollar sign, the caret, and the exclamation sign, and so forth. They cannot, in your username, you cannot use these signs. Okay. And then for your password, however, your password, you can use 8 to 20 character long. It must contain at least one numeric and one special character, such as the exclamation point, the @ sign, the number pound sign, and dollar sign, percentage, and N sign, and the asterisk sign, except the caret. Remember, you cannot use the caret sign. At least one uppercase, and at least one lowercase letter. Matching password must be re-entered. Once you enter your password, you have to re-enter it to ensure that it's matched, to ensure that you type what you intended to type, so that the information, when you take note of this password, so that later on when you're accessing the system, you are able to access the information and you don't have any issue to access. Step 3B, choose a site phrase. This phrase will appear on your login page before you import your password. Why is this important? For example, if you log into a page and to access the system, you have to remember the phrase that you use, so that because when you log in, it will show that phrase. If it show a phrase other than the phrase that you created, in that case, you are in the wrong website. In that case, you log out or even turn off your computer and start and log in again. So when you see the phrase you created while logging in, you can be assured you are not on a scam or fake page. You may use spaces within the site phrase. Okay. And then step 3C, choose a site image. Again, this is also for security. You have to choose an image that you are familiar with, that nobody can guess. Okay, and then this image also enable you when you log into the site, and that you will be able to see this image. And if you see images other than the image you selected, in that case, you may be on a fake or scam page, and you need to immediately log out and shut down your computer and start over. This image will appear on your login page before you input your password. When you see your selected image while logging in, you can be assured you are not on a scam or fake page. Step 3D, you will choose your 4 challenge questions. These challenge questions basically enable you to, if you forget your password, you will be asked these questions. And then if you are able, you have to remember to the answer you selected, the questions you selected, and the answer for each questions. Because if you forget your password, you want to recreate your password, you will be asked this information, these questions. And if you cannot answer this question, you may have to go through a different process to recreate this password. It may include even calling the Department of Revenue customer service line to ensure that you are the right person recreating this password. So this question may appear on your login using a new computer or locations, like if you are out of the office, or you are in a different computer, or you buy a new computer system, and or if you are in a different location, you want to access the system, you will be asked those questions as well to ensure that you are the right person and you have access to this to the system. Okay, so step 4 is that the user profile is successfully created. The page will appear, select continue, and then use profile successfully created. User profiles, it will say user profile successfully created. Your profile was successfully created. Please write down your username for future reference. In that case, you have probably already wrote down your username, and for that future reference. Select and that once you complete that step, you proceed with step 5. This is you select continue on the online security information page. The online security information page is also to ensure that the right person is supposed to have access to that information, is accessing this information. For security, for your security, we will show your most recent login history every time you log in. So if you want to take track of the login, when you log in, dates, time, and so forth, so that next time when you log in the system, if anyone else log in the system, you will and then when you log in the system, you'll see the time when the last time the system, your information was accessed. And based on your tracking record, if you are not able to tell, if you are not sure, if you know for sure that you did not access the system in that time, then in that case, your information may have been compromised. In that case, you may need to call the Internal Revenue maybe you may need to create a new password to recreate your login system and everything, changing every information to ensure that that person doesn't have access to your personal identifiable information and so forth, or your organization financial information. Now, create an electronic form submission. That is step 6. Select Manage e-postcard profile to create a new Form 990N electronic filing submission. So you have completed all the login criteria, all the credentials you need to access the system. Now you are able to create of Form 990N electronic filing submission. That process requires you the electronic leave to electronically file your Form 990N e-postcard, the e-postcard profile. You have the e-postcard profile, and then also you have manage Form 990N submission. Under the e-postcard profile, before you can create a Form 990N e-postcard, you must create your e-postcard profile. Your e-postcard profile allows you to designate your postcard profile, or in other words, you can call it 990N form, as either a preparer or exempt organization. And in that case, you'll then step two, you will add your employer identification number, your EIN, to your e-postcard profile. Or you can remove EIN from your e-postcard profile. And more information on who must file a Form 990N. So check our most recent video that we posted on that, who must file, and then you get some information from that. Once created, you can update your e-postcard profile at any time. You will click the button below to get started. Manage postcard profile. So now you're in the Manage Form 990N submission. Once your e-postcard profile is created, you can use the Manage Form 990N submission page to create a Form 990N. View the status of your existing Form 990N submission. So we'll get status whether there are questions, or if it was rejected, or if it is pending information. Maybe you missed some information, pertinent information you did not enter. In that case, you will be able to see what needed to be done to proceed with the processing of your Form 990. Now, in that case, also on step 3, you will have the option to edit and edit and then progress Form 990N. If your 990N is still in progress, you can edit information and so forth. You can also delete and then progress Form 990N. If you were not intended to submit the form but it's still in progress, you have the option to delete it. And then manage Form 90N submissions. That's okay. So once you completed that process, you can proceed with step 7. Step 7, from the drop down shown below, you will select either exempt organization or preparer and the user type field. Exempt organization. If you are an exempt organization, you will select if you are only completing Form 990N for your organizations. If you are a preparer, you will select if you expect to help multiple organizations. If you expect to help multiple organizations, you will select preparer. Example: a preparer can be paid preparer, such as a CPA, volunteer, or someone aiding exempt organization at a local library. By selecting preparer, you can use your login to add as many organizations as you wish. These are for CPAs, enrolled agent, or other preparers that are helping exempt organizations. If you are filing their forms and you are filing for multiple organizations, you want to access you want to select preparer to help multiple organizations. That will give you the option to file for multiple organizations. Again, you don't need a tax software for Form 990N. You can file this directly on that website. You can from the start, we give you the website and you can see it on the screen. After selecting the user type, whether it is an exempt organization or preparer, select continue, and then you can see e-postcard profile, and then select EIN, organization detail. If you want to review the organization detail, you'll click on that. If you want to review, select EIN and employer identification number, you will click on that. If you want to review, validate contact information, and then once you do all of that, you get a confirmation. In that case, you will please select exempt organization or preparer. So And you have the option here, like we explained before. If you are if you are an organization, you select exempt organization. If you are only completing Form 990 and for your organization, per se, if you are not using a preparer and you are the manager, pastor, or the financial officer, or whatever your position in the with the organization, and you are responsible to file Form 90, and you will select exempt organization. But if you are a preparer helping multiple organizations as a paid preparer or and volunteer preparer per se, you can select preparer, and then you have the option to go back by clicking previous, or going forward by clicking continue, and then that will take us to step 8. And with step 8, you will enter, like we explained to you, you will enter your EIN for the organization you are filing for, then click add EIN, employee identification number. You may also delete EIN if you are, per se, if you are like a preparer and you are no longer helping that organization, you can delete that EIN since you're no longer going to use that EIN already, and you may also delete that EIN already associated with your profile. To continue, select create new filing. Select create new filing. As you can see, postcard, select EIN, organization, contact information, and confirmation. Exempt organization as the user type, and then you will type in the EIN, which you know that the EIN is about a 9-digit number. It start with two number with the dash and so forth. And then you'll click add EIN, currently associated EIN, and then you'll have the EIN show here. If no EIN, then it will say no EIN are currently associated with your ID. Okay, and then you will either delete EIN or create a new filing. If you are creating a new file, you'll create a new filing. Step 9, select the EIN you wish to file for from the drop down menu. Once you have selected the EIN, select continue. So you select the EIN that you are filing for, and then you click continue, and then that will take us to step 10. And the step 10 give us the option to complete the organization detail page. If you don't understand the request, click the question mark. There is a question mark that can give you more pertinent information as far as the information that need to be entered under the organization detail mark. Okay, that will give you explanation for that. Once you have completed each line, select continue. Okay, you will click continue. So it will give you electronic notice from Form 990 and e-postcard organization information for tax year ending. For the tax year ending, you will put the tax year ending per se. If this is a fiscal year, whatever the tax year ending, September 30th, November 30th, whatever date you have as the tax year ending. If you are a calendar year, then it will definitely be December 31st of the previous year. Has your organization terminated or gone out of business? So this is in case if you are filing a final return. You're supposed to file a final return if you are an exempt organization and you are going out of business. You need to notify the Internal Revenue that you are no longer conducting business and that this is your final return. So once you file this final return, then they know that next period they will not see a return from you because you had filed you already submitted a final return. Now, if you are close to the organization is terminated and you have not filed a final information return, the Internal Revenue is under the impressions that you are still exist, you are still operating. So you have to ensure that the proper procedure is followed if you are still operating or if you are no longer in business. Are your gross receipt normally $50,000 or less? Like we explained to you on the first video that the Form 990N is only filed by organization whose gross receipt for whose annual gross receipt is $50,000 or less. Okay, but you have the option to file Form 990 or Form 990 Easy at your own or at your own. You can make your own analysis whether you need to do that, but you are only required to file Form 990N. So the requirement here, the financial requirement here is $50,000 or less. If your annual gross receipt is more than 50,000, in that case you have to file Form 990 or 990 Easy. Step 11, complete the contact information page. If you don't understand the request, again, click the question mark icon for an explanation. Contact information, basically a phone number, maybe email if you want to receive email, who is the point of contact for the organization, or so forth. When you have completed each line, select one of the following. Save filing. If you want to save filing, you're okay with all the information you enter, you will click Save Filing. If you exit the system without saving the filing, your information may not be saved and you'll have to start all over. Select if you are missing any requested information. This will allow you to return to complete it later. Per se, if you find out that you're missing some pertinent information that are required for you to successfully and accurately file Form 990 and your return, so in that case, you click Save Filing, and then you can come back to the return anytime. If you just exit the system or leave the system for a long period and the system automatically log you out, then you'll have to start over again. Or you can submit. You can also click Submit Filing. In that case, you are sure that all informations have been completed. Or you are ready to submit the return to the Internal Revenue Service to process it. Then in that case, you submit the filing. Select when you are sure all required information has been imported in the system. Note that when registering or filing, text field cannot exceed 35 characters and must contain only numeric character, alpha or hyphen characters, unless noted otherwise. Period, slashes, and so on will cause registration or filing errors. Also, enter website address using www, not http ://www. So you have to start entering the website by using www, and so on. So once you reach the contact information, electronic notice form 990 any postcard, organization address, and principal officer information, as I explained to you before. Organization legal name will enter here just like it is registered legal name. If it is a corp, LLC, incorporated, or whichever name the legal name of the organization, it has to enter exactly the way it is to prevent any delay with the processing. If your organization conduct business using another name, such as doing business as DBA, enter other name, enter that name required field in the required field, organization DBA. So you have the legal organization name, and then you also have DBA. If you have any question regarding the DBA information, you will just click on the question mark for questions, and you might receive some detailed information there. Step 12, the filing confirmation will display the filing status as pending, because it is pending because it has to be processed by the Internal Revenue Service. Click on the word print in the bottom paragraph to print a copy for your record once you leave this page. In case if you have to, for some unfortunate reason, that you have to redo your form or you have to re-enter all that information, at least the information you have it printed with you and it's all at your disposal at this time, and make your re-registrations or refiling or whatever cause any delay or any problems will streamline that process for you since you already went through it. So printing that information is very instrumental. Select Manage Form 990 Submission to view or submit additional filing. Again, this is for preparer that are preparing for multiple organizations, or if your organizations, if you are the officer, the officer of the organization, and then you are filing for multiple organizations, you can also that will give you the option to submit additional filing. Again, when you print the return, your Form 990 e-postcard has been submitted to the IRS. You will have the organization name here, the EIN, and the tax year start date, per se January 1st, and then taxi end date, December 31st, or if you are fiscal year, whatever this fiscal year, and so forth. Filing status date, the current status. Pending status would be the date you submit the return. However, once status change to maybe process, and that date, whatever date the filing status was processed, change, it will be here. And then, okay, so basically, okay, so once you're done with that, manage Form 990 and submission on step 13. On the Manage Form 990 and submission page, your submission will show the status of pending. After 7 minutes, refresh the page. F5 key for Windows, Command R for Mac. If you have if you're using a Windows platform or a Mac, and the Get Update Status button will be visible. The status will change from pending to accepted or rejected. Okay, so once you click Get Updated Status, for whatever the reason, if there's any problem with your returns, or you mistype your EIN, or the information in the returns is incorrect and does not match the database, the Internal Revenue System database, it will be rejected for some reason. In that case, you will check to see whatever caused the rejections. If it's something that you're familiar with, maybe you check your EIN, you mistype the EIN, then you will correct it to resubmit it. The status will change from pending to either accepted. If it is accepted, then you know, okay, it is accepted. Now you're done with that. If your submission was rejected, select the submission ID hyperlink for additional detail. Additional detail will be provided to you, like per se why it was rejected. After the status is updated, the only valid status are accepted or rejected. If your status display any other text like submitted or MEF failed, contact customer account services at 877-829-5500. So the only two status, again, you have to remember is accepted or rejected. Any other status, like submitted, after you update the status, after you refresh the system, and then if it shows submitted again, or MEF failed, then you need to contact the Internal Revenue Service at 877-829-5500. Additional information: annual electronic filing requirement for small exempt organization, Form 990N, e-postcard, and then if you need more information about the form, the requirements, and so forth, you can visit the Internal Revenue Services at irs.gov, and other question regarding the form as well at irs.gov, and then for more information. So this is complete. This complete our video on the user guide provided by the Internal Revenue Service as far as concerned as Form 990 and electronic filing system e-postcard. On our next video, we will continue with the exempt organization, possibly go through the instruction for filing Form 990 and 990EZ. As far as also we may also cover the actual requirement for Form 990 and Form 990EZ. And then once we are able to cover these areas, we will also go through with the instructions that are necessary to file the form. If you have any question, feel free to send me, to email me at jdmfinancialconsulting@gmail.com. Also, you can also text me. You'll find my information on my channels and so forth. Hopefully that information was instrumental. You can like my page and also share it, and like and comment, and I will greatly appreciate it. See you next time.